This bucket of clay, I have struggled for the last half hour just to try and get it away from the edges of the bucket. Whew. Socrates said the beginning of wisdom is knowing that you know nothing. And this sounds profound until you're working with clay. Clay that you dug from your own dam, a clay that looked perfect in the ground, and it's just refusing to do anything that I expected it to do. I've worked with clay for a fair amount of time, so I know what good clay looks like. And this looked pretty good in the ground. It had everything that looked like it would be perfect clay. It was this beautiful colour, it was perfect consistency, it was right by the water, it dug out perfectly. And it should have been processing easily. It should have broken down like all the other clay that I've been digging from other parts of around here. But looking perfect and being workable are apparently two very different things. When you dig clay, there are signs that perfect plasticity when wet, which was how it feels between your fingers, the way it holds together. And this clay had all those signs. Perfect texture, location was great. So I dug a whole bunch, expecting it to be glorious and just processed like normal clay, like everything I've used before. But instead it's just sitting here, just I should have just been able to add water, let it break down normally, turn into a nice sludge, pour off the water, maybe even give it a sieve. Most of the stuff around here is pretty good. Get it to a consistency, wedge it, and it should become workable. And instead it's just sitting here, it's just not processing the way that I would expect it to. And it's not really becoming anything that I can use. And with each failed attempt at dealing with this, I'm starting to understand the difference between recognising clay and understanding clay. And this is what Socrates was doing in all those Athens conversations. He'd ask someone, what is courage? And they'd answer with such conviction, they'd so confidently explain, and he'd keep prodding and he'd keep asking questions until they got to the point where they realised they didn't know everything that they thought that they knew. So I kept starting over, making it try and behave like the clay that I was familiar with, testing how much water it would take, how much water it would tolerate. And the water just kept sitting on top of it. No matter how much I mixed it, it just would not. Testing whether it's actually breaking down at all, or how gritty it is, and what that gritty texture actually means about its composition. And it turns out that looks like workable clay in the ground and being actually workable clay aren't even the same thing. I mean, I don't know, this could have, who knows, it could have higher silica content, it could have all amounts of And the particles might not want to separate without mechanical help, which is in short supply around here. And here's where it connects to Socrates in knowing that you know nothing. He wasn't advocating ignorance. He was pointing to epistemic humility, the recognition that direct experience teaches you what assumptions can't. I mean, this amount, or with this much water left for this long, I mean, it's starting to do something, but just not what I'd expect it to do, and not what I expect, and certainly not what I planned, what it's actually capable of doing. The failures weren't mistakes, they're education. They always will be. And you can't learn what material does when you're constantly insisting on that it should do what you expect. Knowledge isn't something that you can carry from situation to situation unchanged. It's a relationship you build with specific materials, specific conditions and specific realities. Socrates understood this, and that's why he kept questioning people who claimed to be experts, not to humiliate them, but to reveal that knowledge is always contextual, always provisional, and always being tested by reality. I can work with this dam clay now, but not because I've mastered it, but because I've learnt to ask questions of it. How long does it need? And what does this texture actually mean? What's it capable of in its current state? And this isn't what I planned. It's what this specific clay from this specific dam in these specific conditions made possible. And that's more honest than any execution of predetermined intention could be. I'm keeping this failed processing attempt. It's taught me more than easy success could have, and showed me the limits of assumed knowledge, the difference between expertise and understanding. And in postmodern thought, this is called the crisis of representation. The recognition that our concepts and our expertise, our assumptions might not map as neatly into reality as we'd prefer. Next week, Marcus Aurelius and Stoic philosophy, making art in whatever weather shows up. Learning to control what I can and accept what I can't. And fair warning, based on today, I probably don't know as much about working outdoors as I thought I did. Subscribe if you've ever had expertise humbled by material reality, and tell me, what has taught you the difference between thinking you know something and actually knowing it? I'll see you next week.